the music impact your soul? Any good stories, or did we pass it already?
I mean, I really think that the reason why I guess it's like that first high that you get. The reason that I do this is because I got rattled at one point, just right down to my core, and I said to myself, "This is what I got to do, no matter what." I think that like the best music that's out there is the music that shakes you to your core, and I just keep trying to make that music.
See, that's the thing too. Like, it's like here's a topic that I really want to touch on was like personal aspirations. Personal aspirations as a musician. Like, as a musician, you never stop. Like, just in general, but like coming from a musician standpoint, you never stop learning. You never stop growing. You never stop. Once you've actually like had like the fingers of being a musician like in your bloodstream, like having like that, just like that first taste of it, when you really feel like you're actually getting somewhere with it, you don't stop. And it's like an addiction. I told my wife recently, like, if I ever quit music, I would probably end up in rehab. I'd probably be on every kind of drug out there and get my hands on because I need some way to keep myself from like literally exploding or finding another way to calm myself down. And the thing with me is like I want to be better. I'm always chasing something better, and that's on a personal level. Going from playing in all the metal and punk bands I've been in to playing in a rock band like Maximus, I've actually noticed myself getting better because I'm playing songs I've never really thought I'd play before. I'm growing because everyone else in the band is so much older than me, and I'm learning things I never knew I could actually play on guitar or even do on a guitar. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even on the air. So basically, recap real quick what I just said. Basically, when I joined the SGL Super Geek League, I learned how to be more creative, more artistic as a performer. I never done this kind of stuff before. I mean, I'm as a pixie, the pixie, and so I never really thought it'd be performing. I always did it for fun, clowning around or whatever, but actually getting involved with the crowd and being part of a team, it was pretty remarkable. And you actually grow and more of an artist. So, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying.
Right. And I'm very much a humanist, I'm pretty sure you guys have all noticed. Mm-hmm. You never stop growing as a person. Every experience that you have leads you to where you are right now. And it leads your state of mind to where it is right now. If I didn't go through the experience that I had with my ex, the good experience that I have with my current wife, the people I've let in and out of my life, I wouldn't be the person I am today, learning from past mistakes and past triumphs. And that's how you grow even more as a musician. If you're in a band where it doesn't work out, your sound live is going to be horrible.
Yes, totally agree.
Like, you can be, like, it worked for Godsmack, I guess, because Sully, Erna, and their guitar player, they hate each other's guts. But they still do a really good live show. But if you don't have chemistry to at least sit down and write with each other, nothing good ever comes out of it. It's like hanging out with somebody and you guys are just sitting there on your phone. Like, you hang out there for a few hours at their place. You don't say a word and you just leave. Nothing good ever comes out of that. You're just sitting there playing on your phone somewhere else. Like you have to take experiences. I'm trying to think the best way to really word all this too. The experiences that you grow up having, whether you're 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old, depending on how old you are before you pass away, everything literally builds up to the person that you are to the day that you die.
I agree. Totally agree.
And that's the big thing with music. You're going to take things from past experiences and bands that you've been in, bring that into different bands. It may not work. Some things may work. Some things may not. And it's trial and error. A lot of it. Like you can't sit there and take, a band like, say, the Beatles, and put a grindcore riff in there where it's just loud, noisy, and obnoxious. Like, personally, if I ever heard the song Yellow Submarine with breakdowns and double bass in it, I'd probably look at the guy and be like, what are you doing?
I think a lot of people will look at musicians and artists in that aspect and say, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Or they just don't understand it. Right. I mean, I'm trying to get my friends and my family to come to see Super Geek League and see what I'm into, or see me perform as the Pixie to see what I'm doing, see how I'm having a great time. But it's very difficult to get anyone to go to these things because they don't understand it. My mom finally came and saw it, and she had a blast.
Right.
She's okay, now I know what you're seeing. We got pictures taken and all that stuff. So, she's now happy that she's seeing what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But people that I'm close to don't seem to want to come to these shows, so it's kind of hurts my feeling a little bit, but I got over it.
Right.
But I do see people when I come to see, like when I perform as the Pixie, I see a whole lot of people there because I see them all the time because that's what festivals you do. So it's kind of cool, But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway.
And the general public, it's so sensitive to things like bands like Behemoth, bands like Whitechapel, bands, like the extreme metal bands. It's really one thing I can really touch on is they're so sensitive to that kind of stuff because it's not something that's in the norm.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like me coming from bands like those bands I mentioned, and then joining Maximus, it was a small step back from what I was already doing, and then like 4 huge steps forward because, as I said before, I'm boosting myself as a musician by learning this other style besides just, going through a pack of guitar strings in 2 weeks because I'm literally shredding my guitar strings to pieces, so to say.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line you can walk with that kind of extremity because there's people who go rampant for it. Like, look at Pantera back in the day. You can't name one artist who said that they don't like one Pantera song, at least, or they've at least heard those songs. And I've actually met people who don't like metal that much. They're like, yeah, man, I like Pantera, or I like Metallica, because if you look at Metallica, they're a heavy band, but they're generalized, and they're so wide range with their music that there's at least one song for every person.
Right. Well, the thing is that they see bands now being big names, but they don't understand the struggle they got to where they are right now.
Right.
They don't hear the backstory. They read it now on Rolling Stone magazine or whatever, but they're not experiencing like all of us are experiencing the growth.
Right. Steve actually posted a picture of the other day, and it a picture of a small stage and then a picture of people at a festival. And it said, if you can't support me when I'm playing here, don't be calling me for free tickets to this.
Right, yeah, exactly. Totally agree.
I give my wife so much, literally so much hell about Marilyn Monroe. I'm not the biggest fan, but she did do some cool things. She did say some really cool quotes. And the quote, if you can't take, I'm probably going to butcher this too. If you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve to be my best.
Yeah.
And if you can't take me... if you can't come to my shows when I'm literally a starving musician, just want to get my craft out there, makes you think I'm going to let you be here whenever I'm actually playing the big stages.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
I actually posted something a lot like this relatively recently, probably a month or two back, because I'd been trying to promote this new album that I just put out, and leading up to it, I share stuff across so much social media. I've got so many sites that I share things on, and getting even just a like, which is just a single click, seemed like it wasn't happening. And nobody was sharing anything. Nobody was passing around numbers. Hey, my buddy here does this music. You should listen to it. And I just made this post. I was just like, hey, you know what? If you don't actually like it, or if you're really not into it, then just unlike the page so I know who likes it and who doesn't. Because otherwise you're all just sitting here doing nothing. And I even wrote a song before that. I'd had a show where I went really out of the way to invite as many possible people as I could. And I had a lot of people saying, oh yeah, we're going to try to make it, we're going to try to make it. And not a single person showed up that I had invited.
I wanted to go when I'm out here in Tacoma. I would have came.
Well, this was a different one. I mean, this was before that show, the show before that. But, I mean, nobody came to it. So I wrote a song that ended up on an album I'd been writing at the time. And the song was called No Thanks to You. And it's just this quiet little piano song about how, I did all this stuff. And none of you people were there. And, maybe people listened to it, maybe they didn't. Maybe they took a message and maybe they didn't. But it made me feel a little bit better putting it to music, what my feelings were. And people still don't come to my shows in quantities that I would have liked, even though I try to invite people to come out. And people still say, oh yeah, I really like that, and then don't listen to it or download it. But you know what? I'm cool with that at this point. I've kind of decided that, I'm making it as much because it needs to be out there than for people who say they enjoy it and don't. People who are going to enjoy it are going to enjoy it, and the people who don't are going to try to be nice and not hurt my feelings, I guess.
Right. That's a big thing with Jeff and the Nutsack Police is like, Jeff will come over, we'll be hanging out, watching TV, playing video games, something like that. And, like, one of us will, look over and be like, dude, you want to cut a Nutsack Police song? And, we'll spend 6 hours in my basement programming drums and then recording just really scratchy, bad guitar tracks. That's what the whole premise of the band is being so bad that it's good.
Now, Sean from Serial Deception has been quiet.
Yeah, where you been, Sean?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I lost the signal, and I had to call back in.
Okay. Yeah, I texted you to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, no, I saw that, but I didn't want to risk responding if my phone just decided to not play along. So
True.
Right.
Okay, so we were talking a bit about the music impacting the human soul before you dropped out, so now it's all you.
Shit.
Hot seat. Let's talk about the music hot seat.
Okay. So, I mean, I can say this, I guess, kind of simply. As far as that's concerned, I really feel like maybe every few years, a song comes along that really gets to the core of you. Mm-hmm. It really just you can't explain why you like it. You can't explain why it speaks to you. And you can't explain why you need to hear it again. But you need to hear it again. You need to hear it again and again and again. And I really think that we're sort of, as musicians, we're playing a game of numbers. That I think that every time, with my band, every time we write a new song, we think, oh, this is it. This is the tune. We're so into it. And then the next song comes along. And it's the same thing again. Mm-hmm. I